On this Memorial Day, we have the story of a soldier who gave his life and the comrade who found a remarkable way to pay tribute. You probably remember the name Pat Tillman. After the 9/11 attacks, he left a pro football career and a multi-million-dollar lifestyle to join the Army, the Rangers to be specific. And he did it with no fanfare, no press releases. Tillman died then in an Afghanistan friendly fire incident. A little more than 3 years later, Rory Fanning set out to honor the memory of his friend and fellow Ranger and raise money in his name. September, Fanning started walking across the United States. 8 months and thousands of miles later, he finished his incredible tribute when he reached the Pacific Ocean. Rory Fanning joins us now live. Rory, after all of that time, you must have had an awful lot of time to think about Pat Tillman and his contribution to this country. What strikes you the most?
Pat was an incredibly engaged person, John. One of the most well-read human beings I've ever met in my life. Compassionate, thoughtful, just a solid individual altogether.
We tried to interview him when we found out that he was leaving the Arizona Cardinals to sign up to join the Army, a $3.5 million contract he walked away from because he felt it was important to serve his country. We tried to do a story on him. He said, "No, I don't want the publicity. I just want to do what I feel my duty is." When you first encountered him as a Ranger, or perhaps, before that in training, what did you think about the guy?
I thought he was very down to earth, inquisitive. When I was talking, he was listening. Never a story topper. Just engaged. Just a solid person.
So you raised money for to honor him. Where does it go?
It goes to the Pat Tillman Foundation, which essentially looks for kids, particularly children of fallen veterans, who exemplify the same kind of leadership qualities Pat has, and then they give them scholarships to college.
Any idea how much you were able to raise?
I'm at about $35,000 now. My goal is $3.6 million, which is the amount of money Pat gave up, to follow his heart into a greater cause. And my hope is to reach 1.8 million people and inspire them to donate $2 to the Pat Tillman Foundation.
I know that you had some pretty wild adventures. It sounds like you didn't really set out with a big bankroll of, hotel rooms to stay in and so forth. We've got shots of you camping in the forest. You just kind of made your own way?
Yeah, I planned this for about 2.5 weeks, and I just went out. 70% of the time I slept outside, and I would say the other 25% I spent in other people's homes. You'd be surprised on how well received I was. After a 30-minute conversation, being invited into people's homes. And the rest was in hotels. A hotel chain sponsored me, so whenever I saw that, I stayed there.
And I guess the goodness of America just has to be one of the legacies of your trip.
Oh, it sure is. Right, left, up, down, people embraced Pat Tillman and his message. And, if there was any cynicism in me with regards to the public before I left, it's been completely washed away. The generosity and kindness of Americans has been overwhelming.
Rory Fanning, who walked across